it is. So that is all I wanted to say in the beginning. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of this video. Bye-bye.
Hello all, and welcome to a one-off video that also serves as a plea to Mini Minuteman to make a video on this guy so I can have more content to watch. If your name is not Milo Rossi, please do not interact with this man, do not watch his videos, don't comment on his posts, whatever. If he shows up on your For You page or your feed, just block him and move on with your day. If your name is Milo Rossi, first off, hi, big fan. Second, if you think that me, a stupid culinary major who cares about archaeology in the case that they watch your videos and world build and then thus need ancient civilizations, and you think I cover enough points that you also don't need to interact with this dimwit any more than I already have, uh, that's perfectly fine. However, I do have a pile of laundry that needs to be folded, and a nice 3-hour video essay on some conspiracy nut and how wrong they are would make for some good background noise. So it's either that or Atlantis. But to reiterate, if you are not named Milo Rossi of Mini Minuteman specifically, don't interact with this man's posts. And for the second person I would like to call out by name, Primal Dad Truther, if you are somehow watching this video, I do ask that you watch the entire video all the way through. I will bring up good points in it, I'm sure. I've also give me the engagement. I have watched your videos multiple times over. You can do the same with mine. If you don't feel like watching me berate you for an hour and a half or however long this is, if you could at least skip to the timestamp on screen right now or in the description for the chapter of Message for Primal Dad Truther, it would be greatly appreciated. And with all of that out of the way, let us get into his content.
Masculine, feminine, none of that is definite. You ask him where the line is drawn, the silence is deafening. Look.
Did you know that there's no evidence that giant humans and animals have ever been petrified into rock formations?
I did know that, actually. Yes.
Thanks to this fact checker, logicallyfacts.com.
Okay, yeah, because Primal Dad Truther, such a cool name.
They have completely debunked this theory that people are tripping on because they're seeing animals and all kinds of weird stuff in these rocks.
People are seeing, quotes, animals and all sorts of weird stuff in those rocks because people have a pattern recognizing brain. So they can see something and recognize that it looks like something else. It doesn't mean it is something else. It means it just kind of looks like it.
Now, the way that they debunk this and the way that they are approaching this and the way that they even really bring this to light kind of makes me more suspicious than anything.
As I said in the intro, I've filmed this video 4 times. I've watched this video more times than that so I could write the notes on it and decide I wanted to use it. You never bring up this point ever again. It's just like, oh, this makes me think. Which actually, this other thing, not related to it at all. You're not saying anything of substance.
Because if you've ever been down any rabbit holes and you ever researched the mud flood in Tartaria.
If you researched the mud flood in Tartaria, you would find that there actually isn't a mud flood. There's no record of a mud flood ever happening. And Tartaria, you would find, is just what a part of Eurasia was called in history. It was just a place in Eurasia ruled by the Mongols, which is fine. You can like ancient Asian history. I also am a fan of like feudal Japan and ancient India, like the Korean War, which I guess is more recent than what you're talking about, but still, it's fine. You can be a weeb.
You got to be out of your mind if you don't think that there's anything going on there when you look at the structures of this place and the technology they had back then.
Okay, the structures of this place and the technology they had back then. Your 2 pieces of evidence there are an AI-generated image and the Google AI overview. Let's see what that says, because you cut it off way too early. Nothing here says anything about ancient technology, actually. So, truly nothing. This is a moot point. It doesn't mean anything.
But we got this awesome website, Logically Facts.
Once again, Primal Dead Truther is not a cooler name than Logically Facts.
And they're telling us how that's all BS. It's just funny they chose this image because it's like, really, what are they saying here? Are they saying that this does not look like an elephant?
That's not what they're saying, not at all. What they're saying is that it looks like an elephant, but it's not actually an elephant. I'm sure you yourself can understand the idea of something looking like one thing, but not actually being it. For instance, you look like someone who doesn't know a lot, right? But I'm sure... I'm sorry, that was a bad example. That's on me.
Because it's called elephant rock. Or are they just saying this isn't a petrified giant elephant?
Yes, that's exactly what they're saying. Good job. You know, you can have a gold star for that one.
Which is just crazy because I alone have millions of views showing these rock formations looking awfully human-like.
Yeah, and like the Marvel movies have billions of views, and New York has never been under alien siege. In the, I think, almost 300 years there's been in New York.
And that's not just me. There's billions of views on TikTok about this stuff, you guys. This was another viral video.
Okay, once again, people have a pattern recognizing brain, so they're going to see that something looks like something and recognize that it looks like something. It doesn't mean it actually is something, it just means it looks like something. Also, point 2 for this one, looks like, not evidence.
So not only are these guys fact checkers,
personally, my pronouns are Google debunkers, so not fact checkers. So if you could just use that instead.
but they're fun suckers because they're taking all the truth and the fun out of it.
Maybe they're taking the fun out of it, right? I think it would be fun if there were giant civilizations or civilizations of giants and with giant animals. I don't think it's true, but I think it's fun. I think there are ideas of fun, yeah.
If you ask me, but hey, if you want to go with them, guys, the lies just really seem to be a lot more boring, and the truth just seems to be a lot more interesting.
I mean, if you flip that, it's true, and that's because the lies don't have to adhere to what the truths say, right? We know in our mind, based off actual research that people have done, we know that the Earth revolves around the sun, that the Earth is, however large it is. You lie about it because when you lie about it, you can make things up, and those made up things can be more interesting than, yep, we're just a big ball of water and ground, and we're just flying through space. And your lies can be more fun than that because they don't have to adhere to what we do know is the truth.
So you guys can continue using websites like logicallyfacts.com that you can probably hire to tell you the narrative and the truth, or you can go find the truth yourself, bro.
Looking for the truth myself, I would come to the same conclusions that Logically Facts has come to, because Logically Facts has evidence and research backing up their statements, while all of your evidence and research is the Joe Rogan Experience, which isn't evidence or research, AI, which is not evidence or research, or looks like, which is not evidence or research. So do you see how the two sides are unbalanced? My side, the side of Logically Facts, which you brought it up again, your name and Logically Facts are both equally cool in that they are extremely uncool names. But that wasn't the point of this tirade. The point of this tirade is Logically Facts has all of these lists of things that support their evidence, and you have all of this list of things that support your evidence but aren't evidence, or support your conclusion but aren't evidence. The rest of this video is bullshit. It means nothing. He says nothing. I don't have any notes on it. I'm not watching this again. On to the next video.
Fuck us, trans rights, free Gaza. My money longer than Israel, but I can't lie, it ain't longer than Israel's. APAC money been fueling the vitriol.
Just when you think you've seen it all with these money conspiracies, you come across the fact that if you fold this newer $100 bill into an airplane, it looks like it's flooding in New York.
It doesn't look like that, and I don't know why you put quotes around newer $100 bill.
Now, I'm not trying to scaremonger people, and I'm not going to tell you there's a movie called The Day After Tomorrow that could have something to do with a prediction here.
Yeah, and Alderaan from Star Wars blew up in real life.
But with what's going on in the world right now, you guys, and everything in consideration, just think that remember the other bills, we fold them into an airplane. It just so happens to look like a couple of twin towers that had gone down.
It doesn't look like that. I suppose it looks more like that than the flooding, but once again, it doesn't look like that at all.
I don't know, you guys. Do we never forget what they did? You notice that they put all kinds of weird stuff on these bills. I mean, this is the biggest conspiracy of them all, you guys. The all-seeing eye, the Illuminati on the money, yada yada. Come on, connect these dots.
The big air quotes, all-seeing eye, big air quotes, Illuminati on the money is the eye of providence. It's a Christian belief that God is always watching over us. I don't personally prescribe to it, but that's just my worldview. You seem to be the type of person that would prescribe to it. I'm not gonna say anything about whether or not you are, but you do seem that way.
Fold this bill to say 2020 looks like he's wearing a mask from 2020.
Not really. It doesn't. I'm glad you have an active imagination. It just doesn't look like that.
What about this guy? Is this more money coincidences, you guys? Just keep this in the back of your mind.
Yes, Andrew Jackson and Jeffrey Epstein are not the same person. Sometimes people just look similar.
I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to make predictions. All I'm telling you is what they've been telling us.
You are trying to scare people, right? Like almost kind of word for word, you're doing what fear mongering is. I'll admit I have the script written down. I will also be doing it in this video. My things are just things that have actually happened, and yours are, hey, the money kind of looks like this one thing, but not really. So you should believe me when I say it.
And how they printed this money off before these events happened, you guys.
Yeah, dude, you brought up this image again, so I'm going to bring up my thing again. If you go through this portal, this mine shaft right here, you get transported to the Minecraft world, and you can do all the things that the Minecraft world does, like finish the movie and not create the game Minecraft, but create a different game for some reason. You can do that if you just go into, this cave. Rest of this video, nothing. So you bring up 9/11 and that they're doing it in the money. I'm gonna take a step. I'm gonna take a step into your fictional reality where the U.S. government committed 9/11 for some reason. Why would they flaunt that they did that? In any discoverable way. Why would they just say, hey, we did it? If you want to be mad at government, you don't have to make up an evil shadow government to be mad at. There are real things the real life evil government is doing, right? You can be mad at the real life evil government, the one that is refusing to release the Epstein files, because that's what they're doing. Even if they, released it, they didn't really. It's just got black bars over every piece of text. That's not a releasing of something. Hey, so I filmed that last part before the Epstein files got their big release thing. Obviously, they have come out now, so I thought I'd just mention it since I'm still in the editing process of this. Yeah, I take back what I said about the government. You don't no longer have to be mad at the government that is refusing to release the Epstein files. You can be mad at the government who has their names in the Epstein files. The other points I make still stand. Be mad at them for tear gassing peaceful protesters. Be mad at them for refusing to give people who can't afford food the ability to buy food. Be mad at them for that stuff. But that's it. All right, bye. Right. The one that allowed a felon to run and win the presidential election. The one that only cares about the top 1% of the top 1% of the top 1%. There's a real government to be mad at. Just be mad at them and the things that they have objectively done.
So scared of being called gay, they afraid to fuck with flat-chested bitches. Like, what's wrong with you?
Okay, I'm just gonna let this next video play out while I talk about it, because it's a short video, I only have like one note on it, two notes. First off, Nikon ZF, just a camera, doesn't mean anything. Second, local loon discovers that planets rotate, because that's what that is. You're not looking at the firmament dome or anything. You're just watching the rotation of the planet. A ton of people do it all the time. You're not like special for having done this. And then you bring up like these bullshit posters, these bullshit propaganda posters that don't mean anything really. They're just pictures of the world. Ooh, Agartha. Agartha's fun. Agartha, you know, that like super white nationalist thing. Not something I personally would want to be associated with, but I guess you do you, dude. Yep. Money again doesn't mean anything, and Agartha again, bad. This next video I also don't have something for, however, this one I can't play when I talk about it because it's truly just the scene from Men in Black where Tommy Lee Jones's character is talking to Will Smith's character, and it's about like, you know, it's the humans. A person is smart, people are dumb, right? It's the scene where he's saying, "Oh, humanity believed all of these things, and they said we know these things are true, but they're not." He uses the example of like the Earth is at the center of the universe, it's flat, and that humans are alone on Earth. And for the sake of the movie, those first two, all three of those options, those things are false, right? The Earth isn't flat. The Earth isn't at the center of the universe, and humans aren't alone on Earth. There are aliens on Earth and Men in Black. In real life, the first two of those are true, and the third one may also be. I don't know how many aliens are alive on the planet Earth. Who knows? But this is a good video. I really wanted to put this video in, even though I couldn't play it, because it truly points out how dumb this guy is, because they're spoon feeding it to you. They're saying, hey, people are smart, or a person is smart, people are dumb. They make all of these mistakes, these things that are unequivocally not true. And he's saying, oh man, they're just telling us the truth here. It's just such a good video that points out that he's a dumbass. And I do like calling people dumbasses. It's very fun, especially when people are being dumbasses. It's just, but I hold the right to call people dumbasses when they're being dumbasses. When you start to talk about how this scene, that is the information it's trying to tell you, is being spoon fed to you, and you misinterpret it. It's not even like, oh, why are the curtains blue moment. It's truly just, if this is what the scene means, and you don't understand it, I get to call you a dumbass for that one. But I just had those two short videos I wanted to get out of the way, and now we'll get back into other videos.
So who's talking now? The fakes are unfit for royalty, but they're often crowned.
Let's go down a little flat earth rabbit hole and let's talk about a few key points.
Okay, so I have a couple things to bring up with this image. First off, if, again, I'm assuming you're Christian, because that's kind of the vibe you give off. If the world was created by God to be the perfect place for humans, why is the number of the devil everywhere? That's all I wanted to ask. Second, this here brings up the circumference of Earth, which I don't think believe in, because you believe that the Earth is flat and there's ice walls, which would make the circumference of the Earth much larger than what it is. Also, even in, the real life where it's not like that, this is a wrong measurement. The Earth is larger than 21,600 nautical miles in circumference, and also nautical miles is a weird thing to measure something in, especially when you're not at sea measuring nautical miles. Also, third thing, if you're doing bullshit math, you're going to find the answers you want. It doesn't mean that you're finding something they're hiding from you. It means you're doing bullshit math. That's what it means.
That may just make you question what you've been taught, and we'll find out if it's all pure coincidence or not. First, let's start with NASA, outer space, and the moon landing. Because I'm here to tell you that NASA's actually telling human beings that they landed on this thing, and they're telling you this is a real picture of outer space. So again, we can go down these rabbit holes, but let's continue on.
Okay, let's actually not continue on right now. What is your point bringing this up? If you're going to say that they're lying to you, you have to bring up what they're lying to you about. You can't just say they're saying this thing. It doesn't make any sense, because yeah, they're saying it. It's true. That's what they did. They landed on the moon. We have pictures from beyond the moon because we have satellites beyond the moon, or other ways to take pictures beyond the moon. This is a nothing burger point. It doesn't mean anything.
With a few more points. What about if the Earth was actually spinning this fast and people were actually flying against the spin of the Earth? Why wouldn't they be getting there faster?
Okay. I am sure there is a reason for this. Something I'm not smart enough to know off the top of my head. You don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to travel. Because, and I've asked you this question before in your comments and you ignored me, if the world is flat, like you believe, why does it take more time to get from London to Tokyo than it takes to get from LA to Tokyo? Because if the world was flat, you would have to fly the entire span of the Earth to get there because they're on opposite ends. But it's not, because you just have to fly over the sea. So once again, no legs to stand on when it comes to how travel works for you.
Think about these things and don't get angry. You ever think about why the sun and the moon really are the same size? And do you really believe that they just happen to be the perfect distance away from each other in outer space to look like they're the exact same size in the sky?
No, not really. Not something I've ever thought about. But also, we know that they're not the same size because we can see like solar eclipses, and when solar eclipses happen, it's when the moon eclipses the sun. It's when it's in front of the sun, and when that happens, you can just see the outer rim, like the ring of fire, which is the outside of the sun. So it's just larger than the moon.
Or are these things actually the same size? Just ask yourself without getting triggered.
Um, are the sun and the moon the same size? No, they're not. And look at that, I'm not triggered or anything. I just know it. I'm just not triggered. That's just what's going on.
These discs might just actually be local, and they may be the same size because they represent the yin and the yang of our world.
That second part, sure, probably. There's probably some religion or group or whatever, society, that believes that the sun and the moon are the yin and the yang. That's not a hard conclusion to draw. Or some equivalent, they balance each other out. Not a hard conclusion to come to. However, in these pictures, and I'll flash back to when you had the full 8 pictures up, most of these pictures of the sun look like they are behind the clouds. The ones that don't look like they are behind the clouds are optical illusions, where the massive flaming ball of gas that is keeping humans alive on Earth is so big, hot, and bright that it's blowing out the thinner layers of the clouds and making it appear as there's nothing there, but there are ones behind it. It's an optical illusion. It's not the sun isn't just orbiting around the Earth.
Now, why would they want to keep us away from whatever else there could be in this Earth?
Because there's not anything, or it's extremely dangerous. You had one video in here that in your uh, page that I didn't count, that I didn't put in, because it was dumb. That they jailed a guy for flying over Antarctica, and yeah, because it's extremely dangerous, and they don't want to encourage that behavior. You're not allowed to just do that. But they're not hiding anything from you in Antarctica. They're hiding things from you in the countries we both live in.
Now, again, these elites are obviously hiding something from us, you guys.
Good job.
If they're doing all these things, we're not going to get into that too much, but just think about it. Just think about it. Think about what this world is, and think about who runs this world, you guys. And are they good or evil?
Yeah, dog. I know the world is run by bad people. That's how it was always bound to work out. And maybe that's my cynicism pointing through, but just hear me out here. In a world where you want to get as high as possible, standing on the shoulders of one person who's cooperating with you is going to be pretty, it's going to get you pretty high. Standing on the backs of 10 people who you forced under your foot is going to get you higher, and it will be easier because you don't have to cooperate with the people under your foot because they're laying down. You don't have to make sure they don't throw you off because they're on the ground, they're already down. So yes, I know the world is run by bad people, but they're just people. If you don't put them in power, they don't have power.
Just ask yourself these questions and don't get angry. I mean, honestly, you guys, if we can't figure out at least by the water that this is flat.
Okay, so first off, that bottom photo says it was taken with a fisheye lens and something else. I can't tell. You're in front of it, so I can't read it entirely. But I don't. Also, I don't think that's Lake Tahoe. I could be wrong, but it looks just simply too far inland to be a California lake. Third, if that is Lake Tahoe in the bottom picture, it is already admitted to being taken with a fisheye lens, which means it's distorted already. Your point here doesn't mean anything.
Then hope is very slim, you guys, because this should be curving. This is 22 miles.
22 miles. A nautical mile, I think, is larger than a normal mile. And you've already admitted yourself that the Earth is 21,600 miles around. Why would 22 miles mean literally anything to that? How many? We have to do. I'm gonna do something real quick. 21,600 divided by 22, almost 1/1000th. It is almost 1/1000th of a. Like, it's so little.
Okay, there's no curvature. They measure it straight across. So that knocks it out right there. And if you want to keep going, keep going. But I'm here to tell you that this is undeniable.
I have already denied it multiple times. In this video that I'm debunking, this section of my video, I've already debunked it multiple times.
And again, the truth's coming out, man. And people are seeing it. It's just slow because a lot of people are still bots.
Look, I know I'm using like a robot avatar right now. I didn't think of that when I was doing this. You saw me. I was in the beginning of the video. I'm the same person talking right now. I am a flesh and blood human person. The robot is like simply a character that I made up. I am a human person. A human person is disagreeing with you, not bots. Sure, there are maybe some bots. Most of the people that are disagreeing with you are human people, and the people that are agreeing with you are also human people. However, I think they're extremely old or jaded people who may function more like bots because, and as much as you say to do your own research, I don't think are. I think you're just taking ideals or ideas that you've heard and spouting them back to your audience. I don't think you're doing your own research, really.
So when everybody wakes up, they're going to learn and see these things, and the world is going to change, I promise you. And I'm here to tell you, if you're angry and you're sad and you're going to message me, go for it, bro, because I ain't going to stop.
But you should stop. You should stop. You're posting objectively bad content. So am I. This is also bad content. But I don't know. I'm being mad at the real government, and you're saying that NASA's lying to you for some reason. You don't ever explain why they would lie to you, what purpose they would have to lie to you. Yeah. Just, if you want to be mad at the government, pick a real one. Pick a real one that's doing real bad things. And by that, I mean almost any real government. But that is the last I have on this video. We will be moving to the next video.
The enemy is actually the pack of passive people sitting home getting comfortable. While my people die to keep them ignorant. All I see is violence and bitterness.
See just how evil NASA is. First, we're going to look at Earth's orbital speed around the sun. How fast does Earth move around the sun? 66,600 miles per hour.
Okay. That doesn't mean anything, really. Again, I'm cutting in. I don't want to have to subject you to all of this in one big dosage. I really just want to cut in where I can to, give you the perspective of a sane man. However, NASA in Hebrew means deceive. Sure, I think NASA stands for the National American Space Association. I think. I don't know. Let's do as you preach, and NASA acronym. Sorry, it's the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Yep. That is what NASA is. I do not think it is Hebrew at all. I think it's just an acronym.
Speed of the globe's orbit. Next, curvature in 1 mile squared. According to Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah, dude. The Pythagorean theorem? Pythagoras, the Greek mathematician and philosopher, worshipped the Christian devil, and not like Zeus or Poseidon or something like that.
0.67 feet of drop. 8 inches converted to feet is 0.66667 feet. Curvature in 1 mile squared. Check. Earth's axial tilt, 23.4. But when you take 23.4 and subtract it from 90, a right angle, you get, believe it or not, 66.6.
I said it before. I will have to say it again because I've watched all of the videos I'm going to talk about. You cannot do bullshit math, find the answers you want, and say this math proves me right. Because all you've done is make two numbers equal one number, which is what math is. If you can just say whatever you want, then 420, the weed number, is actually incredibly holy. Because if you subtract 113 for whatever reason, you get 307. 3, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, the 3. 0 is the amount of sins you'll have because Jesus died for your sins. And 7 is a symbol of perfection all throughout the Bible, right? It took God 7 days to create the world. Solomon took 7 years to build the temple. 7 years of prosperity in the Pharaoh's dream and Joseph's story. You can't just do these random bullshit math and find the bullshit answers you want because you're just doing bullshit math.
Again, axial tilt, confirmed.
Not confirming anything.
Now let's take a look at the Antarctic and Arctic circles. Oh, just like that. 66.6 degrees north and 66.6 degrees south.
This is in a very specific situation. It means nothing. The Arctic circles I don't know what exactly they are. I don't feel like doing the research for it right now. I should have looked it up before I filmed this video. I didn't think about it. You are simply only looking for things that prove you right, which is a bad habit to fall into because you're just going further and further into an echo chamber. And, we can all agree that echo chambers are bad. That's why ChatGPT and other conversational AIs are bad products, aside from the fact that they're destroying the environment. Eddie Burback, I'll leave the link in the cards, has a great video about it, about how ChatGPT is entirely an echo chamber.
Now let's go over the diameter of the moon. This is a new one. I actually didn't know. It's 2,160 miles, but you take 6 times 6 times 6. There you go. 2160.
I don't know about that. Once again, it's bullshit math. Let's see. Moon diameter. I guess it's not entirely. It's close enough that I suppose you're right. But why don't you also bring up the sun? Because you think the sun and the moon are the same size. So wouldn't the sun also have to be 21,500 2,160 miles in diameter? Wouldn't that also have to be the case? Or is it not the case now because you didn't think of it now and whatnot?
The surface temperature of Uranus. Oh, there you go, negative 216.
Look, man, I'm sorry your fucking ass is so cold, but I don't see how that has to relate to the devil.
Which is 6 times 6 times 6, 216. Oh, you thought we were done. Let's do Pluto's orbital velocity. Scroll down here. Oh, there we go. 666.
Actually, if you look very closely into this, what these numbers say, it was actually 4.666. And 4 in Japanese is extremely similar to the word for death when both pronounced in Japanese, right? It's she and she. I guess 4 is also yon, but we're looking at she specifically in this context because 4 is seen as unlucky in Japan. So she and she. So it's actually saying death to Satan, which, in your weird worldview, that's a good thing, where things are, good or either good or bad. They're defined. They're black or white, not defined by the many grays and other colors people choose to define themselves by. This video is over. There's nothing left to say. It's like 2 seconds. The entire synopsis of this video. If you can take one thing away from this specific portion of my video, talking about this entire video of his, stop looking for answers where there are none. If you want to find flaws in a system, you have to look at this you have to take a serious look at a system and decide whether or not you agree with the things they're doing. That's how you find the flaws in systems, not just looking for numbers that you have designated in your head as good or bad numbers.
Love the crown, but don't fuck with royals. Billionaires, they can all boil. In the trench, we can all toil. Truth be told, we were all spoiled.
So you still think the earth is round, right? Like they told you. Have you ever really looked at these types of details before on your own without listening to what somebody is telling you?
Okay, let's look at these images by myself, not think about what anyone else has told me. The boat in that furthest image looks further away and looks smaller and looks shorter even. It looks like some of it is behind something. That's that top set of images. In the bottom set of images, the same thing is happening. But I know, obviously he's not walking as far as that boat is. Just simply because I do know that. I think he's just walking over a hill, which would, pretty accurately mimic like Earth's the curvature of Earth, without on like a shorter distance, on a smaller scale. So that's my thoughts without listening to what anyone is telling me, including you.
You learn that water is not curving in a ball. You learn that this ocean is not curving.
Okay. I don't want to pick apart this image. It shows up now. It goes off screen before he finishes the sentence. Periscopes prove the Earth is flat. Only 10 miles away, the target would be 66.6 feet below the curvature. Boy, I wonder why they chose 10 miles. Yeah, it probably is. This is a fucking massive ship. I don't think 67 feet means jack shit to it.
Nowhere can they show you a curvature of the ocean.
There's actually a ton of things that do it. You can do it yourself even. If you go out onto a lake and you, with like a big board, and you set up a laser pointer on the shore, and then you sail out into the lake, and then you mark where the laser pointer hits on your board, and then you sail out further into the lake. The laser pointer will be higher up because light is not affected by gravity, unlike you and the boat and the water and the board. So you can do this. There's so many instances of people doing this. There are instances of flat earthers doing this, like you. You have to be choosing to be ignorant of this process if you don't know of it.
To put it simply, just think about sea level. What does that mean? That means that it's level at a specific height. That means if you are 100 feet above sea level, there's one height for sea level.
Yes, technically, I suppose. Right, obviously, and I'm sure you know this, Primal That Truther, but obviously, the waves and the tides make the sea fluctuate because of the moon. But, we know what what sea level is because we measure the, radius of a ball of the Earth, and that's sea level because it's water, so it will go as far down as it needs to be. That is what sea level is. It is the radius of Earth. If you read this article that is meant for literal high schoolers, grade 9 to 12, that's high school, that's freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. If you read this literal high schooler article, you might know that.
You're 100 feet above that. Sea level isn't curving always, because then it wouldn't be level. It wouldn't make any sense. It's not called sea curvature, it's called sea level.
Once again, article meant for high schoolers. You can for sure read that and decipher what it means. You are definitely at least twice my age. You should definitely know what the sea level is. And if you don't, you can read articles about it. Like this one meant for literal high schoolers again.
And that's because it's at one specific height. And it stays at that height all the way across the plane. If it was changing and curving, there would never be anything so-called sea level.
Maybe if the person figuring out what sea level was an absolute moron and didn't take a science class. Maybe if that person was trying to figure out what sea level was, maybe like a primal, I don't know, no, not primal, primeval father truth synonym, right? Maybe if someone like that were trying to figure out how to do sea level, that's how it would work, But for anyone who knows anything, really, they would be able to tell you that we would just measure like the radius of Earth, and then that would be what sea level is. That's it.
It would always be changing and curving with the Earth like a ball. You can't measure the exact height of the part of the ball that's curving all the way in a circle.
Once again, you can't do that if you're a dumbass who's trying to do that. But, if you get someone who's taken a single math or science course, they'll be able to tell you how to do that.
It's always curving. There isn't a measurable spot to it. But if you have a flat brick,
this is, spoilers for later in the video. Why do you have the Masonic compass on your propaganda poster? I thought you were against those guys. I thought you were against the Freemasons. Why do you have their compass on why do you have their logo on your propaganda? Also, in this picture, you're cutting out like most of Africa. This is a bad picture. You're cutting out like most of Africa and like half of Australia? What the fuck is this image?
you can measure the height of that from whatever distance you want to. And again, just remember, a level uses water in it because water always will level out.
We could use anything to level. We could use sand. We could use truly anything that's affected by gravity. So not light. You could use anything that's affected by gravity in a level. The reason we use water is because water is liquid, so it's going to level out easier than solids will. And it's easy to come by, and it has an appearance, right? You could, if you filled it with some different type of gas other than air, if you filled it half with some different type of gas other than air, and the gas was a different color, it would work the same, except opposite, I guess. But water is much more easy to come by than that fictional thing I just mentioned, maybe. Probably not entirely fictional, but...
So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about this water that is wrapped around this ball and all this gravity is apparently pulling this water in, but you learn that sea level doesn't make sense on a round Earth. So until we have a logical explanation for this, I have to pick a side, and I'm going to have to go against this here.
Well, good thing. I'm glad you have admitted to wanting to change or being willing to change, because I have just given you a logical example. It just requires a not dumbass to find it. If a not dumbass is trying to measure sea level, they're not going to measure at one, from what they see, because that's an extremely stunted worldview. Instead, they're going to take in the entirety of the Earth. So, I hope my opinion has changed your mind at any point, if only slightly.
Cops to the gate, I'm dusting weight. Ops to the place, I flush, cause the people at the top overweight. When I know people who can knock in a place over them, I'm clutching weight.
Trigger warning, this next video does have to deal with the Iran bombings. There's no visuals, it is just being talked about. However, I will say it is being talked about extremely poorly on the side of Primal Dad Truther. I try my best to do as good as I can. However, I am not perfect. I will probably say something. But most of it lies on Primal Dad Truther. So let's just get into it.
Once you bomb somebody, you cannot unbomb them.
Good job. You can't unbomb someone. That's a good point, yeah.
That means this guy has destroyed our entire image as a country.
I'm going to assume you're talking about Donald Trump because he's the one who called the bombings, and you also you have DT on your screen. Yes. Fucking talk to him. Talk to him. Go get it. Talk to him, yeah.
These people are going to grow up absolutely hating us.
I'm sorry, what? I'm sure he's just talking about hypothetical at this point, right? He's not saying that everyone in Iran is going to want to kill Americans. That's not something he's going to say, right?
And wanting to unalive us.
Oh my god, it is. That's exactly what he said. Holy shit. I shouldn't have to explain how dehumanizing that is. But just know it's incredibly dehumanizing.
But what's the worst about all of this is we have U.S. troops in Iran and everywhere else where they're going to start attacking.
If that's the worst part about this, I thought it would be the people that died, the houses that were lost, the pets that were lost even. I don't think the worst part of it was that there are Americans over there. I think, the people that lost their lives are probably more focused on mourning and rebuilding than they are killing Americans. I don't know if I can say that. I'm not monetized, it's fine. I truly... Yeah, bad take. Hey, Primal Dad Truther, bad take. Don't make that take.
They're literally out for blood.
Oh, another dehumanizing thing. We can mark that off the checklist, mark that off the bingo board. I don't want to make a bingo board. That's not happening. Bad take, bad take, bad take. Incredibly dehumanizing. Out for blood is not something we say against actual people. Not something you say against actual people that have just lost, that are victims of a war crime.
Because we bombed them for no reason. I don't care if you think there's a reason. I don't know what this Donald Trump has over people's brains and programming to keep them so loyal to him. He is worthless, and I'm here to tell you that.
Yeah. I guess that's a good point. Yeah, no, he is worthless. He shouldn't have done that shit. But there's bigger problems. There are bigger problems than the fact that Americans are in Iran and other places. There are bigger problems than the fact that people are going to attack probably one of the most powerful militaries in the world. That's, I don't think that's a big problem for the U.S. troops. I think they have the means to defend themselves over there.
I don't care, again, if you like this guy, because I care about the human beings.
As long as they're American. Just, I thought I'd add that amendment to your statement, because, it's what you mean. At least that's what I picked up. You haven't said anything about anyone else, other than, bad, I guess you've talked about Donald Trump badly, but you've talked about two people badly in this video, Donald Trump and Iranians. Those two are not on the same level. I'll say it. Hot take, not Iranians, Donald Trump, vastly different sides of whether or not they're good.
I care about our troops that are over there that are going to be getting attacked now. Where's Donald Trump talking about protecting our troops that are scattered everywhere that are going to be attacked by these fools?
Where's you who has a platform? You have a platform. I will say that much. You do have a platform. You brought the Iran bombings to my attention. Whether or not it's a good thing, we'll say, that's to be said. But you have a platform. You can be talking about more things than just, oh, there's Americans. They might get attacked by these people that don't have military grade weapons. Yeah, that sucks for them. Those people, the people that lost their lives. I mean, they weren't Americans. So, and to be very clear, that is my impression of Primal Dad Truther. I'm just not good at voices.
Nobody has anything to say because all you do is run your mouth because you don't actually understand anything. You're just following this guy.
I don't follow Donald Trump. Hate me if you want. I don't give a shit. I don't follow Donald Trump. You don't understand anything either because you're not talking about the people that actually lost things. And even with the Americans, you're just saying it's bad that they are there now, not that they were there when the bombings happened, because I'm sure they weren't evacuated out and back into Iran while the bombings happened. I'm sure they were still in Iran when the bombings happened. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
And I'm not trying to argue or attack anybody. I'm not trying to be angry.
I'm trying to attack you. Do better. I am trying to be angry. Do better.
But I do care a lot about the overall human race. And
then talk about more than just Americans if you care about the overall human race. Don't just say, Americans suck for them. Iranians got bombed. You haven't mentioned anything, right? Say, my condolences. Say, I'm sorry that happened. Say literally anything that communicates any ounce of empathy. Dear fucking Lord.
And this is gonna destroy us from within.
What do you mean by from within? Iranians, not American citizens, you know, get taken out by ice quicker than Americans would, which is saying something. Americans getting taken out by ice pretty quickly, for however bad that is.
I don't care how you spin it. So watch and see, guys. This is just the beginning. This was the dumbest mistake made in human history. And
nope, just not. We have dropped more. The U.S. has dropped more powerful bombs on more powerful nations. Dropping not nuclear bombs on an already impoverished nation is bad. I'm not going to argue that point. It's not the worst mistake made in human history. Again, I'm taking this point where I believe you to be Christian because that is kind of the vibes you give off, right? Adam and Eve ate the fruit from the tree of knowledge, creating sin in humanity, which led to every mistake ever being made. I'd say that's a bigger mistake. I don't personally believe in it. I don't know what I would say the biggest mistake in human history is. Hitler did some bad stuff. We created nukes. A lot of bad things happened. I don't know what I could say is the worst mistake in human history. I just know it's not this. But that's the last I have on this video. I don't want to keep talking about it. Let's get into something more fun.
Most niggas don't need bitches, they need therapy.
When you wake up, you're gonna see that they tell us these things in symbolism. This is all just like some kind of a game to them.
All right, let's go through these. The Masonic tubal cane does not look like an F. Not really. The Gmail logo looks like an envelope, which I'm sure you used. You definitely look like you had to use envelopes to send any big messages. And it also has an M on it for mail. The Apple and Android store, A's, not the Freemasons logo, just an A. You know, it stands for probably Apple, maybe Android, maybe it even stands for app. The Chrome logo and 666. That 666 symbol is only ever used when comparing it to the Chrome logo. It doesn't have any, it's not used anywhere else. It is just used to compare a company to Satan for whatever reason. The seal of Satan, you have already flipped on its side. And multiple things in your, not in your, but in the Christian religion. I will not prescribe it to you, no matter how much I feel like you fit into it. Multiple parts of the Christian religion have their ideologies swapped just by flipping them around. By flipping the seal of Satan, you have to have changed it in some manner, right? A cross upside down becomes a symbol of Satan, right? 666, 999, opposites of each other. That's why they fit together to make the sex symbol. Stars, right? A right side up star and an upside down star. Same thing. You are just looking for things where they don't really exist.
And we're having to find the Easter eggs that they're planting all over the place.
Your big quotes, evil shadow government, is not creating an ARG for you to solve. They're just not doing that. Also, why would they do that? People who do bad things, unless they're the government, so I guess this point doesn't really work for them, but even, no, actually, no, the government still does it sometimes. When people do bad things, they hide the fact that they do bad things, even if it's obvious that they did bad things. Multiple people have been killed on camera by ICE agents for no reason. Alex Preddy was exercising his right, his Second Amendment right, to bear arms, right? The right to bear arms. That is something he is allowed to do. He is he is a licensed gun owner. He has his gun license. He is in an open carry state. He is allowed to have a weapon on him. He was stripped of that right when they pepper sprayed him to the ground after he tried to help someone. And then they shot him after taking his weapon away. You have to realize, right? I'm not saying that you don't agree with this. I haven't checked your page to see what your views on ICE are. What I do know is that these are real bad things that are happening, and these bad things, mainly not to this extent, have been happening for all time. Really, they've been happening so long. You can focus on the real bad things that are happening rather than, oh, Chrome is actually Satan because if you make this symbol that no one's ever seen other than with the Chrome logo, it actually makes a 666. It doesn't mean anything because you're just making bullshit up. There's real things going on that you can be really mad about, not whatever the fuck this is.
And it takes you lifting your veil to be able to see these things that they're hiding. Otherwise, you're never going to pay attention.
There is no D or B in Coca-Cola. There's just not. You're making letters where they don't exist. You're just drawing lines. You're just drawing. You can draw. It's fine. Just don't draw over things and say, because I drew over this thing, it makes it bad.
Because there are so many of these hidden coincidences.
Okay. So few of these are actually sixes. That first one, close, I guess. That second one, absolutely not. That third one, doesn't touch, therefore is not a 6, it's a G. That fourth one, not a 6. Fifth one, I guess. Sixth one, I suppose. But not really. These are just loops. You just found circles or loops and then made an extra line. And then found an extra line going off of it. These aren't 6s.
Do you see it here on the Jamba Juice logo? I'm going to make it really easy for you guys.
Okay. First off, it's like a whirlpool or a tornado because Jamba Juice uses blenders to make their smoothies, and liquid in a blender will spiral till it makes something akin to a whirlpool. And they're not touching because it would just be bad design otherwise. Second, if you acknowledge that these are 3 6s, you have to acknowledge that flipping them is 3 9s. Flipping them the other way is 3 9s, which is good. Right? I'm not sure what the angel numbers mean. I know that 666 is bad and 999 is good because they're opposites. That's all I know.
How about on this Threads logo, who's owned by Meta? Oh, I'm reaching on that one, right?
Yes, you are. That first one doesn't touch, you're drawing a line. That second one doesn't touch, you're drawing a line. That third one is not in the correct orientation for a 6. It would need to be flipped horizontally. You're not doing anything. These aren't sixes.
You don't see it? Look closer, guys. If you just take a second to look a little closer, you will see these things. And who owns this? Threads? Why, of course, none other than Meta, whose logo has a striking resemblance of what's on this Leviathan cross.
Okay, the Leviathan cross is the alchemical symbol for sulfur. That's a tongue twister. I've had to say that multiple times. It sucks every time I say it. It is the alchemical symbol for sulfur was that symbol before sulfur was ever associated with hell. It was before sulfur and brimstone was a thing. It also, it just looks like a penis, right? This has nothing to do with anything. It just looks like a penis. And I know that because I knew what the alchemical symbol for sulfur was before this video, because I looked it up. And because I was scrolling through the Google Docs add symbols, and I saw that one, and I'm like, hey, that looks like a penis. And then I made a bad Instagram note joke about it. Also, you brought up the Oreo thing, which isn't a Leviathan cross, because it's just a circle and not the infinity symbol, which is what the Meta logo is. You're just missing parts. Everywhere you see something, you're just missing parts of what you're trying to see.
How about all your precious celebs who are constantly throwing up these 666 symbols?
They're not doing that. They're just making a hole around their eye to look through. It's cringe. I'll for sure admit that. Definitely cringe. It's not satanic. And also, some of these guys have their hands flipped upside down to make a 9, which once again, if 666 is bad, 999 is good because they're opposites.
How about this one, bro? Do you see the 6s here? Tell me, bro, do you see any 6s in here? Do you see any 6s at all?
No, I don't.
Do you see a reptilian-looking eyeball?
Not at all.
Nah, you still don't see it. I'm still reaching, bro.
For sure. Reaching further than Luffy and Mr. Fantastic and Plastic Man all holding hands, stretching as far as they can. That reptilian eye, just a clapper to a bell. That first 6, closest thing you've gotten to a 6 here. That second 6, not a 6. It's just an incomplete circle. Also, you only have 2 6s. Not 666. Not satanic.
I'm just finding things that just don't mean anything, right?
Yes, exactly what you're doing.
Let's continue. Maybe it's in this Ford symbol as well,
my God,
bro.
dude, you found some loops? Make them shits fruity and I'll gobble them right up.
Maybe this one's reaching too. Maybe these are all coincidences. Maybe you can make up a bunch of other numbers with a bunch of other parts of these logos.
That's exactly what you can do. And that's exactly what you would do if you weren't looking for 666s. So let's break down everything here. Recycling, way of the devil, burn all your plastics. Vodafone, no clue what that is. But they just took their logo and put it in their typeface in exchange for O's. Monster, we'll get into that. Chrome, already got into that. Adobe, doesn't look like 6s. Fingers, Taco Bell, got into those ones already. Walt Disney, closest thing so far that you've come to as a satanic company. They're just capitalistic though. Not satanic, just capitalist.
But I'm here to tell you, there's a hell of an awful lot of coincidences out here with these logos, and whatever you're not seeing 6s in, you're going to see other demonic signs and symbolism in these logos. You just have to be able to see it.
Okay. The Heineken brand is named after the person that bought the company way long ago. And I suppose E's kind of look like 6s. But once again, if Heineken upside down has 3 6s and an upside down star, then right side up, it has 3 9s and a right side up star, which are good things. Holy fucking shit. Do you not understand this? You are picking and choosing because they fit what you want.
And if you can't see it, you'll never see it, because seeing is believing, and you can't believe something until you actually put your eyes on it.
Not true. People believe in things they can't see all the time. I believe in friendship. There is no seeing friendship. You just have friends and then have friendship. There's no seeing a lot of things that people believe in. I believe in gravity. Gravity is not something you can see technically, right? You can see people falling to the ground, which is gravity, but clearly, not everyone who sees that believes in it. You don't. We'll get into that. You make a bad video about it.
And yes, they make some harder to see than others. You have to do a little footwork. You have to see and connect these things in different ways.
Okay, the monster logo is not a 666 in Hebrew, because that would be a crazy thing for it to be. Uh, it is three claws of a monster ripping through something, right? That's what it is. If you want to get symbolic with it, it's 3 sevens in a row on green. It's telling you to go to Vegas. It's telling you to bet it all on green. You're gonna win big. Go do it. Bet your life savings. Bet your house on green. And that's what the monster logo is telling you to do. Just go do it.
They like to use Greek symbols, Roman numerals. They like to keep it real interesting for us.
Why would they make it possible to be seen though? Because you've never answered that question. Why would people do it in the public eye? They wouldn't.
Because if they were all this easy to see, we wouldn't really think much of it. It wouldn't be that elaborate. These guys know what they're doing.
But why would they make it possible to see at all? I keep asking this question. You keep not answering. I get that I'm talking to like a pre-recorded video, but dear fucking lord, you have to point out what they want from it though. Why would they make it possible to be seen if they don't want you to know about it? That's not how things work. That's not how people work.
They like to slap you in the face with it.
You're not a genius for figuring this one out. You are looking at a singular red string on a corkboard and following it to the end. I will tell you exactly what happened in the pricing and naming of the El Diablo burger at fucking, I don't know, Carl's Jr. Uh, they said, man, this is a hot burger. What's hot? Fire's pretty hot, right? You can't just call it a fire burger. That sounds lame. That doesn't have a good ring to it. Lot of fire. Hell, yeah, hell burger. No, there's gonna be some like Christian moms mad at us or something probably. Satan. No, Satan burger falls under the same category of those first two. It sounds lame, and Christian moms are gonna be mad at us. Diablo. Oh, cool. We'll name it Diablo Burger. You know, we'll assume the Christian moms can't speak Spanish. Yeah. All right, that's good. Oh, we need a price for it too. Fuck. $7 burger. No, can't just do a $7 burger. It's like a specialty item. You know, 666. That's close enough to $7. That's a Satan number. Yeah, 666. Will be $6.66. And then I don't know. They went and had an orgy. I just laid out for you the entirety of what it is. You're not a genius for figuring it out. You're looking at a red line and following it with your finger.
Let's play Where's 666? Do you see 666 on this box here?
Ugh, I don't. I don't see the 666 on the Little Caesars box. If only some old man in a duck's hat could get a red Sharpie out and edit the photo to point out where the sixes were on the Little Caesars box. That would be so helpful. Oh, please.
Take a close look, guys, where you could see where it looks almost like some sixes. Let's take a closer look. Where do you think you could see 3 6s on this box?
Oh, that's on me. Hey, I didn't look at like the Roman decorations on the titular Little Caesars toga. I guess even if they weren't common Roman decorations, yeah, I guess I could see how they look like sixes. I mean, kind of, they look more like spirals. And oh wait, sorry, I'm getting a call. Hey, what's up? Oh, they look like G's. Yeah, they kind of do. Yeah, no, I have made the point that like for it to be a six, it would have to loop around and touch. Yeah, yeah, no, these ones don't. Yeah, oh yeah, all right, bye, love you. Bye. Say it back. Say it back. Oh, say it back, please. Fine. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, they look like capital G's. They don't really touch. They don't look like sixes.
How about on this Talkies logo? Do you see anywhere some 6s could be? Maybe 3 of them.
I see a 9.9 ounces. That's not 36s. No, I don't see any 6s.
Cause truly when you see it, you can't unsee it. Here you have 6 and 6 and another 6 inside of that 6.
Oh, I think that's actually just like a spiral. One, because it looks kind of cool, and two, because Takis are spiraled, which you can see on the bag. They're spiral chips.
So what is this? Another coincidence, right? How about the flames coming off of this 666? Is that a coincidence too?
No. Once again, it's because Takis are hot chips and fire is hot. If you can read Diablo, you can also read Fuego, and you should know what both of them mean. Hot and devil, sure.
Can it have anything to do with the devil or hell, right? I mean, honestly, eating this stuff, you don't think it pertains to go into this place? You don't think eating fake food has anything to do with this at all, right?
No? I don't. Look, I haven't been to like church in like 6 or 7 years. Haha, I said the thing. I Has there been like a new commandment that said thou shalt not eat mass-produced food? I don't think that was a thing. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm willing to be a dumbass, but I don't think that's a thing.
And turn on the people debating my right to live. Who is you with? What do you stand for? Ask them a question, they plead in the fifth.
I'm not saying the earth is flat.
You said it multiple times.
Please tell me why we don't have these pictures of these airplanes flying downward, flying upside down.
On screen, not right now, but previously and in the future, on screen, you have and will have a picture of a plane flying downwards. On screen right now, you have a picture of an upside down boat. Why are you complaining you have the things you want?
If everything is round here and everything is pulling into Earth with the gravitational pull, not the Earth's magnetic pull.
Fully separate things. First off, I don't know why you put quotations around gravitational pull. That's just a real thing. I put quotations around your video names because they're bullshit. But, you know, the gravitational pull is just a real thing. It's what keeps you on Earth. It's what keeps you from flying off whenever you like take a step or jump. The magnetic pole controls like magnets and compasses. Has nothing to do with keeping you on Earth.
Right? You would see pictures from these satellites in outer space of these objects being upside down.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't do that, and I'll explain it because this picture up here, I also, want to explain. You wouldn't see pictures of that because satellites are taking pictures of the entirety of Earth, and not a plane. We've gone over this before in this video. A plane isn't 22 miles long. A plane's just not that long, like Lake Tahoe is, and you wouldn't be able to see a commercial plane from space because you're looking at the entirety of Earth, which is fucking massive. You wouldn't see a plane, you wouldn't see a boat. I think you can like barely see not the Taj Mahal, the Burj Khalifa, which is the largest structure on Earth, because the Earth is so big. You cannot just zoom and enhance an image. That is a thing that crime TV shows do, and it's bad. You can't do it, especially not to this extent. You can't just zoom in on Earth and find a picture of a boat unless you're on Google Maps, which is a different thing entirely. The satellites are not taking the Google Maps pictures. The cars on the streets are taking the Google Maps pictures. The satellite is taking a picture of the entire Earth.
Literally, because they explain this Earth is round and this gravity is pulling everything in. That's how you're able to be standing still.
Holy shit. Are you in like Australia right now? Because you're upside down. What was that? You're just in Australia now? You got teleporting powers? That's insane. Because obviously the only way you can get something to be upside down is to be on the other side of the Earth from it, and definitely not just editing. That's definitely not a thing you can just do.
And everything is equal and level because of this gravity. It has nothing to do with the fact that you are made of matter, and matter is dense, and matter will drop. That has nothing to do with it.
Actually, no. That has like everything to do with it. That's a a pretty good explanation of what gravity is if you're explaining it to a child. Yeah, that's what gravity is. You are matter, you are dense, so you will drop. The thing is, what you're dropping towards is the Earth, which is incredibly big and incredibly dense. So big and so dense that it has a gravitational pull.
And until then, I'm going to go on believing that anything is possible because all I know is everything I'm told is a big fat lie.
What could I ask? What source is telling you that everything is a big fat lie? Because I'll tell you right now, if there is a source telling you that everything is a big fat lie, that source is lying. Because if everything, because it starts paradoxical until you start to think about it. If that source is telling you that everything is a lie, then that source must also be a lie, which is fine, because if that source is a lie, then that means there are some things that are true. That source is not one of them. So the source you're getting that everything is a lie from is lying to you. There are some things that aren't lies.
And every time I say anything against what I'm told to do, I get removed or I get shadow banned. And I'm just here to tell you right now that everything is a lie.
Once again, not true. Second, you're getting removed and shadow banned because you're spreading incredibly incorrect information and passing it off as truth without doing what practicing what you preach and doing your own research. And if you are doing your own research, you're not doing enough of it, because if you were doing your own research and you were doing enough research, you would come to the conclusion that what you're saying is false. Also, I think I heard your child crying in the background. Go hang out with your children.
Don't trust anybody. Do your own research, and that will set you free.
Once again, my own research will lead me to the same conclusions that the big air quotes mainstream media, that logically facts, has come to, because the mainstream media and logically facts have evidence backing them up, and I guess technically you do too. Your evidence is just, this thing looks like this thing. This thing is what I said it is, and everything is a lie. All three of which are not pieces of evidence. They're just statements. And a lot of them are incorrect statements. End of the video. On to the next one now.
Simple allegory, still that can't affect how we live and learn is why it leads to press the artist harsh as they know we the damaged threads.
Alright, this next video, I'm going to be abundantly clear. I am only making fun of the one person actually making content in this video, being the one person that's talking, and Primal Dad Truther, because that's what the point of this video is. The person in the foreground, effectively, who is just making bad content and not talking to anyone, not really saying anything, just pointing, nodding his head. Bad content, I'll say that. I'm not making fun of him or them. I don't know what they identify as, because they seem young enough, right? The two people that I am making fun of seem double my age. The person that's not seems like they could be talked to, and if the person that is watching this, the person that I'm not making fun of in this video is watching this video, go watch Milo Rossi video. Go watch one of the people that's collaborated with Milo Rossi that also debunks people who are being dumbasses on the internet, right? Go watch them. If you don't want to do that, watch a Fantasy High by Dimension 20. Good rec, I'd say. Go watch that. Go watch Jujutsu Kaisen Sentenced to be a Hero. Those are two different shows. Those aren't the same thing. Go watch those ones. Just watch that, right? Go do something else. Don't stop making this content. It's bad.
I never got into this stuff, ever. I don't care about it. And this is the problem. Nobody really does. But folks, when I lay out a clear, absolute clear, you cannot dispute this with the money that I have in front of me.
We'll see about that. I'll try my best.
There's no way to dispute this at all. You follow the track right now with me, and you look at when you fold an airplane, a paper plane with your money, and you go from the $1 bill to the $100 bill, okay? And listen to me when I say this, okay?
I'm sorry, I need to cut this off here, because I'm sure you watching this video are hearing this guy drone on, and it's doing nothing for you. Now you'll hear a different guy drone on, but he has correct opinions about whether or not the government committed 9/11, which is where this is going. So I'll just bring this up here. What does this $1 bill have to do with anything? This doesn't look like a plane. This doesn't look like towers. This doesn't look like the Pentagon, a Pennsylvania field, whatever the fourth location was supposed to be before it was the Pennsylvania field. This looks like nothing. This looks like you folded a $1 bill into an airplane, because if you didn't, people would ask what the $1 bill means. That's what that looks like.
Just showed you the beginning of this video on Google that they redesigned the money in 1996. They started with the $100 bill, and then they moved on to the 50, and then the 20, and then the 10. And it goes 1996, 1997, 1998, and then in 2000 they were done with the redesign.
All right, I want you to keep in mind these numbers. They will come back up later in this section of the video. Keep in mind those numbers. 1996 or something to 2000. Those are the numbers you need to keep aware of.
Folks, this is undisputable.
I disagree.
They executed a plan that was already planned.
That's how plans work. Yeah, people make plans and then they do the plan. That's just how they work.
Okay, here's the 1 to the 5. The towers are hit.
Towers weren't hit at the same time.
The buildings are falling.
Didn't fall at the same time either.
The buildings are gone. And all there's left is smoke.
Doesn't really look like that. All right, and also I'll bring this up now. Why are you guys who focus on like the 9/11 truthers, or like the government committed 9/11, why are you so focused on only the Twin Towers? There were 4 planes during the event, right? There were the Twin Towers, there was the Pentagon, there was the Pennsylvania field. Why do you only care about like all the Twin Towers were hit? Right? Do they not make plans for the Pentagon or the Pennsylvania field or wherever it was supposed to hit? Was that just like, oh fuck, we got some extra pilots lying around, let's do 2 more acts of terrorism? Is that what you're saying? Is that what happened? They just on the fly decided, we'll hit the Pentagon and like the Capitol building, I guess. White House? No, not the White House. I don't know. But why did they only plan the Twin Towers if they did, which they didn't?
This is not a joke.
To you, it's not a joke. To me, I think it's hilarious that you believe that Islamic terrorists took over passenger planes for the sake of the U.S. government so that they could commit commit atrocities to their nations. I think that's hilarious that you think that.
Okay? Now, I can hear some pastor right now. Oh, you're spreading fear. You know, truth is only fearful to those that don't want the truth, because they would rather hide themselves from the truth.
Hey man, if you're going to do this, script your video out like I have. Because fearful doesn't make sense in that context. Right? It's scary or cause fear. And also, untrue. The truth can cause fear, can be scary, if it is scary. Right? Like 9/11, like ICE killing people, like tear gassing peaceful protesters. You know? The truth can be scary, even if people want to accept it. If people don't want to accept it, it's probably because they don't like the version of the truth you're giving them, right? Like when I tell you that there's no reason for them to lie to you about the Earth being flat, there's no reason for the U.S. to have committed 9/11, there's no reason for a ton of other shit that you believe, right? The truth is scary when it's scary, and lies are scary more often because they don't have to adhere to the truth once again.
You ready for this, folks? If I take the $20 bill right now and I fold it like such in front of you, and this is the mind blower, okay? You tell me what you see when I fold this $20 bill.
I'll tell you what I don't see. What I don't see is Andrew Jackson wearing a mask, which is what you're going to tell me I'm seeing. I just don't see it because it's just not there. Andrew Jackson is not in this picture. He is in this picture. He is not wearing a mask. This is not planning of COVID. Also, if you're going to be a public nuisance online and make these terrible videos, at least don't be a public nuisance in public and film these videos at your house and not in this In-N-Out or Five Guys or wherever you're doing this.
I'm going to fill the hole. I'm going to cut off his head a little bit here. Do you see a guy wearing a mask? Is there a guy wearing a mask? Is that Andrew Jackson upside down?
Yes.
But they made his head bigger because they want him to wear a mask?
No.
And what year did they want him to wear a mask? Oh, look at that. 2020.
Okay, remember when I told you to remember those numbers? Why would they plan a pandemic 24 years in advance when the pandemic originated in China? Answer that question. You give these people you apparently don't like so much credit. You know what I do to people I don't like? I say, man, that guy sucks. And then I move on with my day. Like, other than right now, which I'm doing, which I realize is like a bad look. But I really wanted to make this video. I spent too long trying to make this video. I have to make it at this point. Sunk cost fallacy. But yeah, I see people I don't like, and I say, man, I hate that guy. And then I move on with my day. I don't say, man, that guy's probably a genius who committed 9/11 and without anyone knowing. That's not what I do. You give these guys too much credit for being people you dislike. Also, I'm not going to bring up the fact that the pandemic started in 2019. I guess it wasn't like at its peak in 2019. It was at its peak in 2020. A lot of things were at their peak in 2020, right? A lot of things. Me in high school, my freshman year, everything's been downhill since then. That ages me a ton. That's not the point. But yeah. Stop it. Stop making these videos. That's all I have to say. Next video, now.
These niggas moving intentions of treason. I see him scheming on my region. They're faking allegiance, conceited and fiendish.
Let's go down this big tobacco, big food rabbit hole, and you tell me if these are all coincidences that these fools bought all these major food companies in the 80s.
First off, I would like to say L, Google AI overview. L, bad. Second, no, it's not a conspiracy. It's just capitalism and monopolies.
Because when you do a quick Google search, you can see the rabbit hole itself, guys. These fools bought out the big food companies. Why? It's because they want to get you hooked and sell you a DRUG.
A guy on Twitter, not a trusted source, I'm sure your high school English teacher is rolling in their bed right now. You can just say drug. Don't have to spell it out.
This is how they used to sell cigarettes when it started, until people started catching on that they were unaliving them by the millions. Don't tell me that this is all a coincidence. Don't tell me the food isn't exactly like the cigarettes.
Well, I won't do that first thing, but the food isn't exactly like the cigarettes, right? No matter how unhealthy a food may be, no matter how much it is a Snickers bar is still calories, which you do need to burn to exercise, right? And cigarettes look cool, I guess. But yeah, tobacco companies don't care about the side effects of smoking. They haven't. They don't now. They probably never will. They are selling to earn a profit. Eddie Burbeck, great video on this. Once again, love that man. Platonically, in a parasocial way, as I don't know him. A great video on it. Not technically all about that, more so about the TikTok anti-smoking ads, but it does touch on that. It's a good portion of the video. It's a good video in general. Go watch it in the cards. Anti-smoking campaigns on TikTok if you want to look for it yourself.
Just in a different way, everybody's eating this stuff instead of smoking something that's disgusting. So it's even worse because food tastes good and it's accepted and normalized just to fill your face all day.
All right, so let's get into this image because that's what I have to talk about. Nothing you've said so far. since I've stopped you. Humans aren't meant to live in this manner. Humans aren't meant to do a lot of the things we do, but we do it because we don't have a choice. If you're living in 2026 and you don't have a cell phone, you're an outcast. You personally, anyone who's watching this video, you've never had a natural banana. They've been genetically modified over the centuries that they don't exist. They might as well be a different fruit. Things happen because people make them happen. If humans hadn't made ships, which maybe we weren't meant to do because there's no other creatures that can traverse large swaths of sea and still live on land. But we did. So almost every culture in the world has draws parts of themselves from other cultures. If humans hadn't made medicine or good hygiene practices, we wouldn't live past 30. But we did. So I have a 90 some odd year old grandfather who got a pacemaker installed. Right? The idea of humans being meant to do something is a weird idea, and it puts humans underneath something. And there is nothing that is proven to be more cosmically capable, which is a term I'm coining right now as to just mean it can do as much as humans and more. And if there is something that is more cosmically capable than humans, then it doesn't care about what we're doing, or it thinks we're fine. So why should we care? This is not a bash on religion. This is just me arguing against whether or not humans should be meant to do things.
With all these fake foods,
Remember, they used to smoke in hospitals, in airplanes, in doctor's offices, and police stations, as well as restaurants. That's how normal they made cigarette smoking. That is disgusting, bro.
Yeah, smoking's bad. We know it's bad. It was bad. It still is bad. That's why we stopped doing it. But agriculture, right? Eating is not something you can stop doing or start doing easily. The average person, to be very clear, average person is living in a small apartment with minimal sunlight and corporations that control agriculture and make it extremely hard for people to grow their own plants because they have managed to trademark or copyright or something literal strains of seeds. Somehow they managed to do that. So yes, the food that is being pushed down our throat isn't great. But the other options are to go broke or starve for the average person.
Can't even be around these things nowadays, let alone sit and eat my food trapped in a building with smoke everywhere.
and trust me, I love all these fake foods, you guys. Trust me, but I'm here to tell you there is a catch here. There's a reason why these fools are orchestrating all this. It's all some kind of Luciferian scheme.
Calling capitalism Luciferian isn't wrong. It's just not the most right you could be either. Capitalism is the practice of the rich get richer and the poor can fuck right off, disguised as pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you too can make it big like those guys. The only thing is that those guys, most of those guys, were born with a silver spoon in their mouth and never had to work for a thing a day in their life. Sure, there are the success stories here and there. They're extremely rare, and either they get to the top and start thinking like those guys who were born with a spoon in their mouth, or they don't think like those guys, and there are schemes made to take them down.
You guys have to understand this is some kind of simulation, and they set this up on purpose. This is not a coincidence.
Yep, I'll agree with you one time on your whether or not this is a coincidence thing. This is not a coincidence. It does not have to do with your made-up evil shadow government, though. It's just the real evil broad daylight government. The same evil government that said if you can't afford food, you don't deserve it. The same government that is tear-gassing peaceful protesters. The same one that has aided terroristic forces because at one point in the past, they made a pinky promise. It's that evil government, not whatever one you have up in your mind about like the Illuminati or lizard people or Antarctica Agartha people. It's just the real-life evil government that's doing real-life evil things.
You guys need to wake up to this matrix, join in, and see it with me, you guys. This is how I see the whole world and everything in between. We're talking pharma, we're talking the dental, the vision, everything in between. It's all literally fabricated. So once you guys are able to see this the way I do, you will not partake.
All right. This is the last note I have. It's one big note. How to fuck the system. These pieces of advice are good pieces of advice. They are not necessarily the most realistic pieces of advice. We'll go through them one by one. I'll say there are 3 good, objectively good, realistic pieces of advice. The other 4 aren't great. Homeschool your kids. Sure. Good. You know, maybe if you don't have a public school near you, if you have to pay for them to go to school, you know, that's a good option. You as a person likely don't have the teaching credentials that teachers do. Maybe you do. Maybe you're a teacher. That's great. If you're a teacher, you are specialized in one field. And even if you're even uh, elementary school teachers specialized in a certain field, being teaching of single digit children, right? Children with their ages in the single digits. You are not great at, you know, you're probably not great at the higher concepts of English and math and science and whatnot. You are likely good at the stuff you learn, the stuff you've learned, and the stuff you teach every day. Not likely uh, how to do the quadratic equation, which whether or not they'll actually need it, who knows. But yeah, and also to homeschool your kids, you need to be home with your kids to homeschool them. That is one big part of it. And you probably are working a job because that is how the average American, I should qualify everything I've said so far. Whenever I talk about average, I am talking about the average American because that is where I live, that is what I have experience with. So, the average American cannot afford really to stay home with their children and homeschool them in the modern day because of how everything is. Um, so, there's that point. Grow your food. Sure, as I've mentioned before, I think a point or two ago, agriculture is not something that is easy to do for the average American, where you are living in a small apartment with a small living space and a small kitchen, or a slightly larger shared living space and shared kitchen, and you have the room to grow garnishes like, mint, basil, green onion, uh, strawberries. You're not setting up a tomato vine in your kitchen. Even if you live alone, you're not doing that. Tomatoes would need a larger space outside, not just a pot in your kitchen. So, yes, good advice. Again, likely don't have the room for it. Turn off the TV. Good advice. Realistic advice. Turn off your TV. You don't need it. Absolutely not. Good. One of the best pieces of advice. One of the top 3. Support small businesses. Good. Yes. Support small businesses. They have, they're likely family owned, family run. Uh, it, and you can develop a rapport with them better than you can the cashier at your local Food for Less or Walmart or what have you. Yes, good. You know, how long can you only support small businesses before it's 7 o'clock? You're coming home. Kids need to be asleep by 8 so they can wake up early enough the next day to have rested well, get out of bed, and ready for school. You got not a lot of money, good for dinner, and the golden arches are just kind of staring you down. How long until that? Uh, Eat healthy. Similar to growing your own food, most healthy food you would grow yourself, so you can control how they grow, what is in them, whatnot. Don't necessarily have the room for it. For the healthy food you would buy, it is more expensive than not healthy foods because of some reason. What is it? I couldn't tell you. I'm not an economist. I'm a culinary major. Uh, so more expensive or grow it yourself, neither of which are good options. Exercise, good advice, realistic advice. Go on a run, do some push-ups, what have you. You don't need to have a gym to exercise, right? You can do push-ups on the ground. You can take a lap around your neighborhood. Exercise is fine advice. Spread kindness, also good advice, also realistic advice. no matter what position you're in, you will always have the choice to spread kindness if you are interacted with. That is always a good advice. Good advice, realistic advice. So, turn off the TV, exercise, spread kindness. Good pieces of advice, realistic pieces of advice. Everything else, good pieces of advice, not the most realistic. For Americans, again, should specify. The system does not need to be fucked. The system needs to be changed, if not uh, devolved. It needs to go back to where there could be, you could only have one person. You could have a, air quotes, breadwinner of the house. That is the only one working. There is someone staying home, watching over the house, the children, the pets. Yes, I won't say what gender roles would make up what, but would be ideally up to you and your partner if you have one. Yes, the system doesn't need to be fucked. It needs to be changed so that people can live in the system and not just work in the system. That's how it needs to be.
The sisters of Medusa finna turn us all to stone-skinned Kiroshimas and try to break your knee if it won't bend.
Primal Dead Truther, Justin Kaiser, as I learned your name is. I'm back. I'm in the flesh. We're talking man to man, face to face, flesh to flesh. If you watched the entirety of this video, thank you. I appreciate it. And I commend you. I probably wouldn't have been able to get through 2 hours of someone yapping about how everything I believe in is wrong. However, I'm not someone who believes in wrong things, so there's that. Two, if you didn't watch the video, if you just skipped to this part like I said you could in the beginning, and I assumed you would, I'm not surprised, obviously. As I just said, I am not angry. I feel the only emotion I feel at this moment is disappointment. I gave you watch time. I figured it was the least you could do for me. But I understand. Now, onto the titular message for you, the message for Primal Dad Truther. Stop posting the content you are posting. I'm going to say a couple things, and I don't think that they apply to you. I'm going to say these things, and I need you to know, Justin Kaiser, Primal Dad Truther, these things are not aimed at you. The content you're posting is writing an extremely fine line. We're using my fake microphone as a line. This line, this side of the line, the side that I'm on, is the side that says, oh, this is a fun idea, right? It is kind of fun, maybe the earth is flat, maybe there is an ice wall or something, right? And then on this side of the line, there are far right people who believe that trans people and gay people and people not from America should not be able to have rights of any sort. And that's the line your content is writing. I'm not saying you fall into the beliefs of everyone on the far right, right? I'm not saying you fall into the beliefs of anything that I said, right? About how, oh, it's a fun idea, maybe this is true, but probably not. I'm not putting these things on you. I am just saying that is the line you're writing. From what I've seen from your videos, you are looking to be mad at something, to find something to be mad about. And I'll tell you right now, in case you did skip the entirety of the video, you don't have to look for an evil shadow government to be mad about. There is a real life evil government that you could be mad about, that you can point out the flaws in the system with. You don't have to say, oh, this reptilian eye in the Taco Bell logo means they're part of the Illuminati. That doesn't mean anything. It's the clapper to a bell, right? What you have to do is look at the world around you and decide whether or not you agree with it. And then you can fight for the side you agree with. That is what you need to do if you want to be mad at something. You don't have to make things up about it. So, if you do truly believe in the content that you post, in the ideas that you say, I urge you to stop posting about it. There are other things you can post about. I was looking at your page. That's how I found out your name is Justin Kaiser. That's how I found all of these videos. I didn't just stumble upon all of them randomly. I went looking for them, which is a bad idea for me to do for reasons I will get to later. I was looking at your page, right? And I saw you had videos about like how ICE or some militaristic force was like dragging out Houston veterans, and right? And like that's a good point. You should be pointing that out. As I pointed out in this Iran bombing section of this video, you brought the Iran bombings to my notice. I didn't know about them before your video. The problem is that in the Iran bombings video specifically, you call them bloodthirsty, you call them fools, you don't ever say anything about them. And the problem with that Houston ICE or other militaristic force thing, is that right next to that one is a video about hurricane demons, and I'm not gonna debunk that because I don't want to watch any more of your content again for reasons I will get to later. Um, gonna just debunk that real quick. The eye of the storm is not a literal eye. It just kind of looks like an eye, so that's what it's called. There we go. Quick debunk right there. Again, I ask that you practice what you preach. I ask that you do your own research. You look for scholarly articles. That means academically trusted sources. That means the people who are writing about them are trusted in their field. They have credits in their field, right? You wouldn't come to me if you had a question about like how science works, about what molecules you would need to mix to get fucking piss, right? You would come to me if you want a recipe for chocolate chip cookie dough truffles. I made these ones. They're very good. There's a recipe link down in the description. You can follow that recipe and make memories with your children, right? Memories that they can look back on and be fond of. But yes, the research. Your research should be from people that have credentials in their field, from non-biased sources ideally. However, if the only thing you can find is a biased source, if you look at the sources link from that biased source, there will be other sources that shouldn't be biased in it. And if there are only biased sources in it, that is probably not a good source to use. And if you don't believe in what you're saying, if you are just grifting for the love of the game, you're probably not watching this, but you know, you're probably just excited that someone's giving you attention despite the fact that it is a 9 subscriber YouTube channel. But if you are watching this and you would like advice and you are drifting, stop posting what you're posting. Once again, that's my advice no matter what. Or if you do want to keep posting what you're posting, make it obviously satire or fictional, right? I have, like, on this channel, I have, like, The Forge in the Sea, which, for as much as I didn't mean it to be, is a political thing, right? It does have to deal with people being invaded and taken from their homes and forced into effectively slavery, right? You know, not I didn't mean for it to be political, but as long as there will be a corrupt government, any stories with tropes of a corrupt government will be political because they could always be related back to that corrupt government. Yeah. So make it obviously fictional or satirical. When I say that I need an old man in a duck's hat to point out where the 666 number is in the Little Caesars logo, I am obviously joking, and it would have been more obvious if I could do, my bit where because I arched my back and stuck out my ass, but yeah, when I say that the government is evil, I mean that the government is evil because a non-evil government wouldn't take food away from people who couldn't afford it because the largest companies in the world realize that if they don't pay their workers enough, they get more money. That's not a joke when I say it. When I don't know, say that the monster logo's about gambling, yeah, that's a joke, obviously. My final message. If you want to reach out to me, tell me about like how the mainstream media is infecting my brain or whatever. Don't reach out to me for that. If you want to reach out to me and tell me that like my advice brought you some clarification and you will no longer be posting about that, leave it in the comments. I have spent probably over a week editing this video, listening to your voice on repeat. If I have to hear your voice again before the day I die, it will be too soon. If I have to hear your voice again in 1,000 years, it will be too soon. This is not a dig at you specifically. This is, I have listened to your voice so much and the things you have been spouting so much, and I disagree with all of it, that it's grating on my ears. Also, I'm a college student. I'm 20 years old. I had classes today. I shouldn't be doing this. This is taking up so much time of my fucking short amount I have of a day to actually do the things I'm required to do by the college. I shouldn't be doing this, but I am because I wanted to. That's on me, but whatever. Welcome to the outro. Uh, I will say real quick, if you do want to skip this, that's fine. Listen to like the last 30 seconds or so of this. It's a song that I picked out. By the way, all the music used in this video, obviously, as it is credited in the parts where it's used. But also, if you would like to listen to any of the songs in full, in the description there is a link to a playlist with every song in it in order of where it was used. Right. So, Tomboy Tuesday, The Foot, IBTC, whatever other ones, right? Also, just to clarify very quickly, the lines I picked from the songs were extremely cherry picked to make political statements. They are not specifically political. The Cursed song had something to do about like people at the top staying stagnant while me and my people are dying for their safety. That is a song about Suguru Geto, and JJK. It's not it's not that political in that part, but I can cherry pick the lines and make it political. However, some songs are more political. Run to the Rescue, that last song that played just before the message to Primal That Truther, starts out with like a like free my guys, the Palestinians, Congo, Turkmenistan, like a ton of nations that are not free. That's how that song starts out. So that one is more political than Cursed, but I just thought I'd clarify that, get it out of the way. Now, stick to the end. I picked a song that I think would infuriate Primal Dad Truther. You don't have to. Obviously, you're free to do whatever you want. But if it's your first time here, thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it. If it's not your first time here, I'm sure you're surprised to not only see me post a video after 6 months, but for it not to be fictional in grounding. Technically it is, because everything he's talking about is fictional, aside from the Iran thing, but we're not getting into that. I did it in this video, I'm not doing it again. Everything he's talking about is fictional, so I guess it's fictional in that sense, but it's not like the other stuff I've posted where it's stories about a fictional world. It's not that. So, if you're surprised about that, and the fact that I posted. But, I did. So, as a little quick pitch for this channel will be mostly audio-based storytelling with sparse visual intervals, or sparse visual aids. Aids made by me, by a human, and you can tell that because they look bad. They look bad, so they're mine. That's how you can tell. Because if AI did that shit, it would look good. Or it wouldn't, let's be very clear, it wouldn't look good, but it would look more professional than the MS Paint art that I would show you. That I will show you, right here, that one. I don't know, it'd probably flash on screen for a very small amount of time. Right? That's what my art looks like. Not good. But, that's what it will be. Like if you like, dislike if you didn't. Send it to your friends or enemies, people, I don't care. Hype the video if it's easier for you to do. Comment what your favorite bit is. How dumb this guy looked because he couldn't figure out what Men in Black was telling him in the scene where Men in Black was telling him what they were saying. Do whatever you want, really. Comment your grocery list in the comments if it'll help.
Anyways, thank you. Have a good rest of your day. And always remember, the world's largest military is nothing more than a personal guard for the billionaire class. They will commit genocide in order to enact this brutal hierarchy and use propaganda to justify it and their endless wars. Our only hope is to join together in a working class revolution to reclaim our freedom. Bye-bye!
Ass up, put his face down, about to give him ample guidance. Cock the gun back, might let it bust, let it get it back inside him. Pull it out, paint his world white when I aim it at his eyes. Sword in his mouth like Zorro! What the tongue do? Gamagoro! Cause it's so adorable, let him get up on my snorkel. He's my little fish man, Del Toro! Already saying R.I.P. to rival crews, my boy, I love him ardently. I eat him out like pirates at a carvery. Barati, he's my haven, and I'm tasting all his artistry. Hit him with that log pose, bout to make him bark for me. Fuck the man who said I was the devil, cause I'm fruity. My boy acting like a pirate, so I'm getting to his booty. I'm about to draw a map across his body like a Nami, and I keep the rubber on me, cause I'm hungrier than the fish.